Suze gets a federal judge's order to rescue kids. Hey, it's Suze, and welcome to tonight's episode of War Crimes Unit. Hey, nice to see ya. Like my stun gun, you can get one from Damsel in Defense. 7.5 million volts will scare away or hurt the hell out of any bad guy that comes after you. Find it at the iSuze Home Shopping Mall on Facebook. Oh boy, I think it's time for the court. Time for the court. There's so many assholes out in this world. Has to do with these missing, discriminated, traded minor children. I'm going to have to get a federal judge's order for the U.S. Marshal Service to rescue the kids. I don't see any other way around it. Want to know why? Because all law enforcement underneath the U.S. Marshal Service are corrupt. Or even if an individual isn't corrupt, like there might be one good one, but the rest of them are all corrupt. Or they're all chicken shit or whatever. So, my son and his half-sister, their missing persons police report in the Calexico, California Police Department has disappeared. It's intentional. I've had it with these special agents. You know what? I had a whole new round of special agents. Homeland Security Investigation Special Agents. They all suck. I never want to see another Homeland Security Special Agent again in my life. I never want to see an FBI Special Agent again in my life. Essentially, they're the same, because a lot of these ICE Special Agents are FBI agents. So, here you go. Day 1 in FBI school, you learn how to be an asshole. Day 2 in FBI school, you learn how to be a corrupt asshole. Day 3 in FBI school, you learn how to be a corrupt asshole and cover up for it. Day 4 in FBI school, you learn how to be a corrupt asshole, cover up for it, and cover up for it for everyone else. So I will have no part of any of these special agents ever again in my entire life. I mean, that just, that just totally did it. See, here's the thing with the Calexico Police Department. I gave them the name and phone number for Special Agent Paul Burkholder, and a special agent that Customs found for me at the airport down in Houston, Texas. I thought he was reliable. Thought he came with quality assurance. You know what? They are all the same. I never want to see any of them again in my life. Okay, so my Homeland Security inquiry from Senator Barbara Boxer's Oakland, California office is still delayed, missing. I don't even know if they've sent it up to the Office of Congressional Affairs for DHS-IC. I called them a year ago. They told me I could try Congress again. So there is an unusual delay, and I'm just not buying this. I think it's being interfered with. See, because I need that. See, when I was up in Marysville, California, the Marysville PD, they were offering to help me on this missing kids issue. But see, I didn't have all my documents all printed off because I wanted to take photos of my documents of what I had, stuff like this. See, at the time it was all stuffed online because I just had a bunch of crap ripped off down in Harlingen, Texas. So by the time I got all these books together, I was getting hacked at the hospital and I had to get out of there. But they ended up taking another report and it had to do with my mom, my missing mom. so the kids is a motive for my missing mom, this strange phone call. So, we never actually, got to the official missing persons report on the kids. But but you know what? I thought the Calexico Police Department, I thought they were reliable. You know what? This one Marysville police officer, he did question. See, because, when they came out that night, they did question. I had mentioned, I said, I think you might have to contact Interpol. And they even said, referring to this ICE special agent, this Paul Burkholder, they said, oh, well, he could contact Interpol. And I'm sort of thinking, oh, well, he can. Okay, and then there's something not right. See? This damn special agent, you can't trust him. So anyway, that Homeland Security inquiry out of Senator Barbara Boxer's office is still delayed. That would probably help. And I could certainly probably try to make another police report. I could. But without that, I just think that everything's going to go south because these special agents between ICE and the FBI, I think they're just all hacking everything. Hacking or covering up for each other, whatever the hell. I just can't trust any of them anymore. So I still can't get that. So I called the Oakland, California Police Department. called and then just didn't have the right number. And then I found the chief of police. I found his email. So I emailed him. And then I get the shitty email back trying to tell me it's classified. Oh, yeah, this raises the question. Suspects. Because there's no reason why the Oakland, California police can't go knocking on the door of Senator Barbara Boxer's office and wonder why there's an unusual delay when it comes to evidence that could help missing kids, you see. There's corruption going on. There's a lot of corruption. I mean, it's missing evidence. It's missing evidence just like any other missing evidence. It's a RICO conspiracy just like everything else. But of course, I just like a lot of police departments say, oh, they just want to help the FBI. They just want to help these, they want to help by special agents. They don't want to step on anybody's toes. I was so fucking mad. You know what? I mean, thank God. Thank God we still got the Marshal Service. I have to say that as many of these deputies or inspectors or people within the Marshal Service I've talked to, they are disgusted over all the rest of this law enforcement. I mean, I can feel that in the tone of their voice. Well, I let them know. And here's the thing. I tried calling, I did call the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. It'd be the county where Oakland is located. So, and I talked to a deputy there, and I called the Homeland Security Division because I figured they'd at least know something about terrorism, or they might be at least a little smarter. And, basically, they were giving me every kind of fucking excuse as to why the hell they won't investigate it. Basically what it boils down to. Every kind of fucking excuse. So they're not reliable. They had a nerve to tell me to get an attorney. It's supposed to be the U.S. Department of Justice. Police and sheriffs, aren't you, the police department and sheriff's department, within the purview? Aren't you in the U.S. Department of Justice food chain? God. Well, so back to square one. I'm going to have to get a federal judge's override on this crap because of the U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, all the corrupt U.S. attorney's offices, and all of the corrupt law enforcement, that's underneath, cross-spanning every department, that's lower than the Marshal Service. I mean, I just can't even believe this. Can't even believe this. But if it will help the kids, I'll do it. So here's how I'll start off the case. Your Honor, sorry to bother you. It'll be something like this, but more professional. Your Honor, I hate to have to bother you with this. It's something that the U.S. Department of Justice is supposed to be doing something about. But, the kids were not placed in the U.S. Marshals Federal Witness Protection Program. They're missing. This letter basically says that, the Justice Department's supposed to be doing something about this. Assistant Attorney General Ronald Weiss, he resigned. And Eric Holder is just as much of a loser as all the rest of them. I'm almost positive they traded the kids. I just can't prove it. But apparently, I learned when I was up in Alaska, Your Honor, that the U.S. Marshal Service can get kids when, everybody else is, apparently they only step in on these kids' cases when, everybody else screws up. That's what I learned from Pete. That's how he was explaining it to me because, the Marshals got his kids. See, Pete up in Bethel, Alaska, guy I worked with at the hospital, and he worked in biomed, I worked in the ER. He said, you just make a police report. The police will get your son into the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. You have a reference number. You'll get help from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And then the Marshal Service can pick them up. Well, I couldn't get the Bethel police to take a report because they're jerks. Can't get, I can't get anybody else to do it. Thought I had one in Calexico, California. They just want to work in the conspiracy. Hell, dude. Probably some of their own officers probably pawn kids out all the time. Pawn kids, maybe they murder people too, considering how many people are missing. Who knows? But so anyway, Your Honor. So can I get an override order for the U.S. Marshal Service to rescue 2 children? Who, from the best of my understanding, are already outside of the country, according to the Office of Children's Issues from the U.S. Department of State. However, there's been some negligence, or they just have not followed through these agent steps, so I don't know the status. So can I just get an order for the Marshal Service to get them? And then see, and then what you do? You just put this ICC letter on. This International Criminal Court. You know what? I think if I put that on there, this would scare the living hell out of a federal judge. See, I didn't have this when I filed Arizona district case, because that's what I'll tell the judge. It's a continuation of Arizona district case, Nisley versus Weish, CV 11 978 PHCECV, filed May 17th, 2011. This is a continuation, but what I didn't have then, I didn't have this nice letter that says MP Dillon on it. I didn't have this nice letter that says International Criminal Court, because I had to go to them after this federal judge threw it out. So I just like to know if this makes a difference. This seems to scare people. You know, I think that this might scare the living hell out of a federal judge, enough for me to get an order for the U.S. Marshal Service to rescue kids. I think it would. Damn crying shame that I have to go that route, though. Threaten the country with the wrath of the ICC. No, it's crying damn shame. I just would like to know what the judge's response is when they see something like this. Wouldn't that be interesting? Because I bet you, like, if I filed it and only had on what I had on before in that Arizona district case, it would get thrown out. I put something like this on it, how much you want to bet it won't get thrown out? Well, if it'll help children, it's worth it. That's tonight's episode of War Crimes Unit. Keep your damsel in defense stun gun handy. Remember, you can get one online. Ships directly to your home and office. You can find it at the iSUS Home Shopping Mall on Facebook. Or keep your stun gun handy. There's real criminals and terrorists out there. Not me, my son, or any of the rest of the victims. I'll see you next time.